It's almost 2:30 in the morning, and the Titanic is standing straight up out of the Atlantic. More than 1,000 people are still on her, packed onto the last stretch of deck above the water, screaming, climbing over each other, sliding toward the dark. And right at the very back, on the wrong side of the railing, one man holds on, dead calm, riding the stern up into the sky like he's going up in an elevator. He doesn't jump, he doesn't scream. When the ship drops away beneath his feet, he just steps off into the sea, and his head barely goes under. The water is 28 degrees. It kills people in minutes. He's going to be in it for hours. His name is Charles Joughin. He's the ship's baker. And what happens to him tonight shouldn't be possible. April 1912. The Titanic is 4 days into her very first voyage. The biggest ship ever built. The most luxurious ship ever built. So safe, the newspapers are calling her unsinkable. More than 2,000 people are aboard, from millionaires in first class to families in steerage carrying everything they own. And far below all of it, down where the passengers never go, Charles Joughin runs the bakery. He's 33 years old, and he's been at sea since he was 11. 13 men work under him. The ovens never go cold, and his whole job is simple: keep the grandest ship in the world in fresh bread, all the way across the Atlantic. The night of April 14th is brutally cold, flat calm and moonless. The kind of sea where an iceberg throws up no foam and gives no warning. Joughin's off duty, asleep in his bunk deep inside the ship, when the whole hull shudders around him. Not a bang, a long, low grinding that runs the length of the ship and stops. He's up in seconds. Up above him, past the orchestra and the grand staircase, the night still looks calm. Down here, the Titanic has just dragged her flank along an iceberg, and the sea is already coming in. His first move isn't to save himself, it's to feed the boats. He gathers his 13 bakers in the shop on D-deck and loads them up with bread, 4 loaves each, 40 pounds a man, and sends them climbing through the ship with their arms full of loaves, white aprons in a crowd of lifebelts. So whoever gets off this ship won't starve before someone finds them. Then he goes up himself. By midnight, he's on the boat deck, at Lifeboat 10, next to Chief Officer Wilde. This is his boat. He's been put in charge of it. All over the deck, the same problem. The first boats are dropping toward the water half empty. 65 seats, 28 people. Because nobody believes yet that the unsinkable ship is actually going down. And the women won't get in. They look at the 70-foot drop to the black water and back away. The ship feels safer than the little wooden boat. So Joughin goes down a deck, grabs them, and carries them up bodily, one after another, dropping them into the lifeboat whether they want to go or not. The ship is listing now, and a gap keeps opening between the lifeboat and the side of the hull. One woman misses her jump and drops into it, caught by the ankles on the deck below, dragged back up and thrown across a second time. She makes it. That's what rescue looks like tonight. And when the boat is full and the ropes start lowering it down the side of the ship, Joughin, the man in command of it, steps back. A crewman taking a seat would look bad, and the boat already has its sailors. So Lifeboat 10 goes down without him. His guaranteed way off the Titanic rows away into the dark, and he stays. With his lifeboat gone, he goes back below. He walks into his quarters and pours himself a drink, a tumbler, half full of liqueur, and drinks it down. This is the part that turns him into a legend, the drunk baker. Hold that thought, because the truth is stranger. On his way back up, he passes the old ship's doctor in the corridor. They nod. It's the last time anyone sees the old man alive. Back on the boat deck, every single lifeboat is gone. Hundreds of people are still up here, and every one of them is about to be in the water. So Joughin does something almost insane for a man on a sinking ship. He starts throwing the deck chairs overboard. It's heavy work. The chairs are solid wood, built to sit out Atlantic weather, and he muscles them through the open ports one at a time while the deck tilts under his boots. 50 of them, give or take, so the people about to go under will have something to grab. And he's thinking about himself too. He wants something to hold. It's past 2 in the morning now. The bow is buried, the stern is starting to climb, and the slope of the deck grows steeper by the minute. And Joughin, calm in a way that almost doesn't make sense, walks into the pantry on A deck for a glass of water. He's standing there, glass in hand, when he hears the Titanic begin to die. A deep crash from somewhere below, like steel buckling. Then, a huge, tearing screech of metal running through the whole ship. She's ripping herself in half. And over his head, thunder, hundreds of feet, all running the same way. Toward the stern, away from the sea. He fights his way out and goes with them. The lights flicker, come back for a second, and die. And the ship that's been blazing like a city all night goes black from end to end. Around him, the crowd surges toward the stern, hundreds of people clawing for the last few feet of dry deck. The ship lurches hard to one side and dumps them into a single screaming pile. Joughin keeps his feet. He climbs over the railing at the very back of the ship. On the outside now, the rail between him and the avalanche of people, and holds on as the stern rears up underneath him, pointing at the stars. This is the moment everyone remembers. The Titanic makes her final dive, and Joughin isn't sucked down, isn't dragged under by the whirlpool everyone fears. He rides the stern straight down, steps off the back of the ship as it goes, and finds himself treading water in the dark. His head barely goes under. By his own count, even his hair stays close to dry. Now he should die. The water is 28 degrees Fahrenheit, colder than ice, kept liquid only by the salt. This kind of cold doesn't drown you. It shocks your body and shuts it down, usually inside 15 to 45 minutes. All around him in the dark, hundreds of voices are crying out for help, for the boats, for people they love. And the boats are right there, a few hundred yards away, sitting in the calm water, half of them with empty seats. Almost none come back. Over the next half hour, the voices fade, one by one, until the North Atlantic goes completely silent. And Joughin is in the middle of it, swimming through the quiet. He can't see the boats, no moon, no horizon, just black water, stars, and cold. So he does the only thing left. He paddles, he treads. He keeps his arms and legs moving and his head above the surface, and he does not panic. Minutes turn into an hour turns into 2. And here's where the legend gets it wrong. Everybody loves the story of the drunk baker, too pickled to feel the cold. But the whiskey isn't saving him. Alcohol opens up your blood vessels and bleeds heat out of your body faster, not slower. What's actually keeping him alive is dumber and simpler. A life vest holding him up so he isn't burning energy to stay afloat. and a man who flatly refuses to lose his head. If the drink does anything at all, it keeps him calm. And tonight, calm is worth more than warmth. The sky finally starts to go grey, and dawn shows him what the dark was hiding. Ice in every direction, bergs scattered white across the horizon. And closer, a shape on the water, a lifeboat. Collapsible B floated off the ship upside down, with 30 men balanced on top of the overturned hull. There's no room. He swims up, tries to climb on, and they push him back. It isn't cruelty, it's arithmetic. One more man and the whole thing flips, and everyone on it goes into the sea. So he hangs on instead. A cook up on the hull, Isaac Maynard, recognizes him and grabs his hand. And Joughin just stays there in the water, held up by his life vest and one man's grip, waiting. Then another boat comes. Lifeboat 12 slides out of the dark with room for a few more. Joughin lets go of Maynard's hand, swims for it, and gets hauled in over the side. And sitting in that crowded boat, soaked through and finally safe, he feels colder than he ever did in the sea. He climbs aboard the rescue ship Carpathia that morning on his knees, his feet too swollen to stand. Above him, her passengers line the rails, wrapped in blankets, scanning each boat for faces that aren't coming. And that's it. That's the whole injury. He's one of barely 700 survivors, out of more than 2,200 people aboard. And the baker walks away from the worst shipwreck in history with frostbitten feet and nothing else. Charles Joughin tells his story exactly once, under oath. London, May 1912, the British Inquiry, in the flat, dry voice of a man describing an ordinary shift. Then he goes back to work, back to sea on other liners for decades more. He marries again, becomes an American citizen, settles in New Jersey, grows old, and dies in his bed in 1956. An ocean and a lifetime from the freezing water that tried to take him and couldn't. 2.5 miles down, the Titanic is still out there, broken in half on the floor of the Atlantic, exactly the way he heard her break. Almost everyone still aboard in those final minutes went into the water and never came out. The baker did. And here's the part you might not know you've already seen. In James Cameron's Titanic, in the final plunge, as Jack and Rose cling to the stern rail, there's a man in white right beside them, hanging on, taking one last swig from a flask. That's not a random extra, that's him. The filmmakers put the real Charles Joughin in his real place, the very back of the ship, the last man on the last dry piece of the Titanic.